Hello everyone. Today I am with Aneesh Mallick. He is a registered valuer. Well, you are a social auditor. What does that mean?
So it is still not very prevalent in India. So basically, even I guess only a few companies are listed as of now in the social stock exchange.
We all know Aswath Damodaran. He is a master, and even I have watched a lot of valuation videos of him, and they are very knowledgeable. But when I talk about valuation in India, do you think the valuation थोड़ा different होता है because of the regulations, because of the laws?
But in India, I guess the valuation industry is still in a very nascent stage.
What do you think? मतलब कहाँ पे lag आ रहा है because of which the valuation industry is not growing in India, or maybe it's at a nascent stage?
So I guess lack of trained professionals. जिनको आता है उनके पास काम आ रहा है. This thing needs to match. The right people should get the right work, and I guess then only the things can streamline. Right.
Agreed. Do you think courses like CFA, FMVA help in increasing the knowledge about valuation? Since you have done FMVA, let's talk about FMVA a bit in detail. We have seen a very high use, a very high boom of technology sector of AI. So what do you think the effect of AI will be on the valuation part?
Who is not updated with the current times and who is not conversant with the AI tools, I guess he might lose his job in the long term.
Let's talk about the job levels and monetary part. What do you think, as a valuation guy, if I'm entering, I have done graduation, I have done FMBA course, let's say, and I am a CA. Okay. So what do you think are the job levels when you enter the valuation industry? What kind of job levels do you get, and what are the packages you get, and how do you increase your level, and what are the packages as you grow? Last question I would like to ask here is, how was your experience in the corporate world? Hello everyone. Today I am with Aneesh Mallick. He is a registered valuer. Welcome Aneesh. How are you?
Hello Prashant, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am good as well. So let's start our discussion without any further ado. Anish, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Aneesh Mallick. So I'm a chartered accountant by profession, a CFA charter holder, and a registered valuer. So these are my broad qualifications. Apart from this, I also hold some other certifications like BISA, FMVA, IBCP. Uh, Basically, something. Some are valuation specific certifications, and some are industry specific, which are required while doing auditing and all. So right now, I'm working as a director with Inmax Valuers Private Limited, which is a registered value entity under IBBI. So this is a brief intro about myself.
Okay. So let's dive into the valuation part. How did you got into valuation? What sparked your interest?
So initially, I started my career with the insurance profile. I did my undergrad in audit and insurance only. I
Okay.
spent 3 years doing auditing and all. But uh, after qualifying as a CA, so I used to feel that we are doing the same task which we used to do as an article. We used to I used to think that I'm doing the same thing again and again, repetitive, and it got very monotonous at a point that I thought that I should change my service line.
Profile.
So and then while doing audit over some listed client, I came across some valuation reports, and we had to vet those reports from the audit point of view. We had to test all the material assertions, and I was not able to understand the anything in that report. So that point, I thought that I should do something related to valuations. So then, at that point of time, I enrolled myself in the CFA course. I enrolled myself for the CFA level 1. So, and I also started searching for a job or a role in valuations. So, so I had took this decision to change my profile in the initial 1 year only. Initial 1.5 years, I worked in the audit post qualifying as a CA. Then I switched my role to valuations full time. I joined RBS Advisors as an associate in the valuation department, and and near that time only I cleared my CFA level 1. So. This is how I moved into valuations from audit.
Okay. You have also mentioned that you are a social auditor. What does that mean? Matlab, what is a social
So,
auditor?
so social audit is a new concept. It's quite a recent concept in India.
Okay.
So, so we have taken this concept from other countries like Brazil and UK. So they have this concept of social stock exchange.
Acha.
So I guess this stock exchanges are prevalent in I guess 8 or 10 other countries. So basically, a non-profit organization and even a for-profit organization willing to raise funds for some social cause, they can list themselves, list their social cause on the social stock exchanges. And
Okay.
basically, the investors who want to invest in such, uh, who want to promote such activities, they will invest their money uh, through a form of security known as ZCYC bonds, zero coupon, zero yield bonds.
Okay.
So basically, a social investor who is looking to earn social returns and not financial returns, he can basically invest in such type of securities. And it is also a kind of a route for companies who to raise funds for social purposes, and they have access to a wide capital now. So anyone wanting an access to a wide social capital, they can list themselves. And the social auditor, what he does, what his role is, he has to do the social impact assessment of such social
Okay.
activities. It is kind of audit, but you need to do it from a social point of view. Whether that uh, NPO, he or she is directing the funds for that purpose only, and not somewhere else, and whether the social purpose is being achieved or not.
Okay. So
Right.
basically, you are auditing a non-profit organization.
It is basically audit of a that particular activity for which
Okay.
he or she is raising funds. Then
हाँ
you have to
कि
report
फंड्स
on
का
that.
कुछ हेर-फेर तो नहीं हो रहा है.
Yeah. And basically, that social cost is being achieved. अगर वो
Hmm.
social cost achieve नहीं हो रहा, so basically it is. So, suppose you have raised funds for some for a hunger cause, and the project is related to a, तो वो basically वो poor people के पास जा रहे हैं जा रहे funds. That is the main thing.
Yes, to ensure that
Right.
it goes to them.
Right.
Okay, समझा. It's a good concept actually. I have heard it from first time. Uh,
So it is still not very prevalent in India. So basically, even I guess only a few companies are listed as of now in the social stock exchange. So it is so developments are still happening in this field. It will take 2 or 3 years to get mature.
तो ये जब जो आपके क्या बोलते हैं सोर्सेज है जो आपके फंड्स है व्हेन दे गेट लिस्टेड दे आर लिस्टिंग ऑन व्हाट मतलब व्हाट इज द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज इन ऑफ दीज फंड्स.
So just like we have NSE, BSE for equity securities.
हाँ.
So I guess NSE has a division known as NSE SSE Social Stock Exchange. Similar is
ओके.
the case with BSE.
अच्छा.
So basically, you have to go to that particular stock exchange to trade in that securities. I guess these securities are tradable as well. That ZCYC bonds, they can be traded as well in the secondary market, post
ओके.
listing in the primary market. Just like equity securities, it can be traded in the secondary market. But to be honest, I have limited knowledge of the social stock exchange because I'm not even so. Based on my limited knowledge, I guess these securities can be traded because I'm
Not
not
an
very
issue.
active in this.
This much information was even not known to me. So even this much knowledge is useful for me. So not an issue for that. So let's
Right.
move ahead. We all know Aswath Damodaran. He is a master, and even I have watched a lot of valuation videos of him, and they are very knowledgeable. But when I talk about valuation in India, do you think कि valuation थोड़ा different होता है because of the regulations, because of the laws?
So in India, the CAs who are working as registered valuers, so ICA has mandated that you need to follow the ICA valuation standards. So ICA has published a separate set of standards for valuation,
Okay,
which is specifically for. So it can be followed by anyone, but CAs have to compulsorily follow it.
okay,
Then there's a separate set of standards which is published by IVS, International Valuation Standards Council, IVSC.
okay.
Uh, so in India, So so these ICAI VS and the IVS, which is an international standard. So I guess most of the things are similar in both the standards, apart from some subtle differences which are specifically tailored for the Indian environment.
No.
So in India, some regulators define a specific approach to a valuation, like in FEMA.
Mm.
I'll just give you an example. So this angel tax, though it has been abolished now,
Ah,
this in the so but they had mentioned that you need to do DCF only, and that too from a merchant banker in case you are raising funds, uh, which is more than the. So I guess the section is 5627B, and the sub rule, the income tax rule was 11 UA2. They had mentioned a specific methodology, which is DCF, discounted cash flow. Then they had
mm,
introduced some other methods as well, but now it has been abolished. Uh, so yes, it does make a difference while pursuing or while performing a valuation. But in India, I guess the valuation industry is still in a very nascent stage. US
mm,
may they have defined everything. Even the valuation of complex securities, they've defined quite complex valuation methodologies for valuation of
yes.
complex securities, and they had defined that I guess 10 to 20 years back. In India, we are still not able to understand those concepts properly, and we are doing still doing valuation using a plain vanilla formula like DCF में कुछ भी कर दो numbers डाल दो or discounted. We are just using maths and nothing else. Uh, so I guess valuation industry in India needs to evolve. They need to adopt more the they need to adopt the upcoming trends. They need to adopt the complex methodologies that are prevalent in the US and other developed countries. So I guess this might take time, but this is in need of the hour because in startups, these startups are mostly
Mm,
issuing complex securities like optional convertible debentures.
yes.
I guess you also might have come across quite complex securities while doing audit and all, like CCDs, compulsory convertible debentures, optional
Yes.
convertible debentures, compulsory convertible preference shares. So these cannot be valued using that. Uh, the plain vanilla methodology of DCF. So they need some other adjustments as well. So I guess this industry needs to evolve, and even people need to be technically, they need to be trained in these aspects in India. I guess no one is teaching these concepts in India.
Mm, yes.
So yes,
Uh, when I'm talking about myself, I'm not a CA yet. I am a CA student.
I
But
know, I
when I
know.
talk about valuation things, I understand the point because even myself, I am a finance enthusiast. I have to watch Ashwath Damodaran to understand those things. कि अच्छा ये है because he explains the way. In India, there are not many teachers that can explain that way. I would say. But what do you think? मतलब कहाँ पे lag आ रहा है because of which the valuation industry is not growing in India or maybe it's at a nascent stage?
So I guess lack of trained professionals, it is one of the major reason the industry is
Mm,
lacking in India. US में the professionals, as I'll talk specifically for US valuations because that is the most mature market in terms of valuations. So वहाँ पे सबको पता है कि कैसे कॉम्प्लेक्स सिक्योरिटीज क्या होती हैं उसको वैल्यूएशन कैसे करना है एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ complex methods, very complex methods to value those complex securities. India में people just do the maths. So I'll just give an example. I was just going through a ESOP valuation report, invoice stock option plan valuation report that was being valued by. So that was valued using the Black-Scholes model by some
mm,
other valuer. Uh, and the exercise price in that, so it was the securities were issued by a foreign parent to a to the employees of an Indian subsidiary.
okay. Mm,
So वहाँ पे exercise यहाँ पे इंडिया में ना the Companies Act mandates that you need to have a minimum exercise price of 10 rupees.
okay.
वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई लॉ नहीं है, तो वहाँ पे लोग जीरो
अच्छा.
रुपीस में भी आप एम्प्लॉयज को सिक्योरिटीज इशू कर देते हैं जीरो एक्सरसाइज प्राइस पे
Okay.
बाहर कई कई कंट्रीज पे. So in that report, the value had taken the exercise price as zero, and he had taken the fair value, the spot price, exercise price, and the other inputs which are required for running a Black-Scholes model. So whenever the exercise price is zero, the value of the call option will be equal to the value of the uh, share price or the spot price. If the
Mm,
spot price is 100, it has to be 100. The value of call option has to be 100 because the call will be deeply in the money.
okay.
अब उस वैल्यू ने क्या किया था उसने I guess fair value of that share was around 5,000 rupees. और उसने वैल्यूएशन किया था कॉल का आई गेस 2 या 3 रुपीज का कुछ ऐसा आ रहा था, जबकि इट हैड टू बी इक्वल टू द फेयर वैल्यू ऑफ दिस स्टॉक विच वाज 5,000. सो जहाँ कॉल ऑप्शन की वैल्यू 5,000 रुपये होनी चाहिए थी उसने सिर्फ 2-3 रुपए it could have made a huge up because that will go as an input while computing the ESOP expense employee stock option plan expense in the financials. जहाँ 5,000 रुपये देना चाहिए था, here so company might have taken 2 rupees only per option. So in India, the this industry needs to evolve, and people need to understand the logic of the model. Rather than just turning the model, they need to understand the logic and see whether the results are appropriate or not. So in India, I guess
Okay.
this logic is lacking in the minds of the people. So I guess they need to be technically sound with all the concepts, and then they should take up that assignment. मैं notice कर रहा हूँ, people who have big network, they are getting all the clients, even though they are not technically sound,
Hmm.
even though they don't have that knowledge or they don't have that kind of skill set. सारा काम वहां जा रहा है और उनको आता नहीं है और वो कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, और जिनको आता है उनके पास काम कम आ रहा है. This thing needs to match. The right people should get the right work, and I guess then only the things can streamline.
ओके सो यू मीन कि जो नॉलेज लेवल है लोगों का इट नीड्स टू बी इम्प्रूव्ड सो दैट दे कैन डू प्रॉपर वैल्यूएशंस एंड इवन इफ पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू डू प्रॉपर वैल्यूएशन द कंपनीज आर गोइंग टू देम and there is
Right.
some error or there will be some error because of their lack of experience, lack of knowledge.
And then just adding one more point, and then that reports or the data will go to the auditors, and then auditors also, I guess, they also don't have that kind of skill set, or they don't have that technical team with them who can vet the reports. So there's an this is going from end to end, जहाँ से start हो रहा है वहाँ से end तक जा रहा है और कहीं पे ना check नहीं हो रहा. So this skill set is required at each and every point of checking.
Yes,
So either
agreed.
hire a consultant, right?
Agreed. Do you think courses like CFA, FMVA help in increasing the knowledge about valuation?
So they do help to a certain extent. So FMVA, it is to be honest, you cannot do it on a standalone basis. You need to couple it with some kind of a professional degree or certification.
Okay.
You will so you will get the required amount of knowledge which is required for a starter who is starting with his career in valuations. So they will teach all the basic concepts of accounting, valuations, financial modeling, budgeting, forecasting, and all. But then you need to couple it with a professional degree, because valuation is connected with accounting or even to an extent auditing, because uh, so the financial statements, these are the raw material that go into performing a valuation and analysis. If you don't understand these financial statements properly, then you will definitely make an error. Most of the time you will make an error. So you need to have a proper accounting knowledge, so you can couple it with a CA. Then, as an add-on degree or as an add-on skill set, you can do a version specific course like CFA, FMEA. So I guess CA coupled with some kind of a version specific degree, I guess it will help to a great extent if you want to make a career in valuations.
Okay.
Since you will have the
That can
required
be
amount
useful
of
for me.
accounting knowledge as well as the valuation knowledge.
Okay. That can be useful for me. Uh, since you have done FMVA, let's talk
Right.
about FMVA a bit in detail. How much did it cost you for FMVA?
So I guess it was around $200, and
Okay.
in INR terms, it was around, I guess, 16 to 18,000.
Okay.
Uh, right.
And how much time does it take to complete the course?
So it is an online driven course. It is not a live instructor and live course. So it is an online driven course. You can watch videos at your own pace. And I guess if you watch videos on a daily basis for 2 or 3 hours, you would be able to complete it in the next, in I guess, 1 or 1.5 months.
Okay.
So it is quite a short term course, not a professional certification at all. Uh, someone looking to start their valuation career, they can uh, think of pursuing this course to kickstart their career. But
It can help build a base.
to kickstart your career, it can help. But
Yeah,
right.
understood. So let's get back on valuation again. Uh, we have seen a very high use, a very high boom of technology sector of AI. So, what do you think the effect of AI will be on the valuation part? Will it remove the valuation part because valuation guys will be out of job, or what do you think will be the effect?
So I think AI will impact the valuation industry. So there are already some valuation specific AI tools which are there in the market. Uh, so I guess uh, someone who is not updated with the current times and who is not conversant with the AI tools, I guess he might lose his job in the long term.
Okay.
So I'll just give an example. So there's one AI tool in valuations. You just need to input the data in the software, like the cost of capital, like the purpose of valuation, the company name and all.
Okay.
It will automatically compute the cost of capital, the weighted average cost of capital back. It will even prepare projections at his end, and
Hmm.
it will even run valuations using 20 or 30 other methodologies. And
Okay.
it will either and in the last step it will even generate the valuation report. You just need to input the basic data that is required for running a valuation, and it will perform everything at its end. So I guess if you have 4 or 5 people in your team who are doing valuations, and if you buy this AI tool, you only need 1 or 2 guys just to input the data, and the other 2 or 3 guys might lose their job because you will be able to perform a valuation only in 2 or 3 hours. The valuation which was taking 2 or 3 days, it can be done only in 2 hours using that AI tool. There is one or two AI tools that I know, and I've even inquired about those. So
So
I guess the
basically, it
advantage.
is a threat.
Yes, it can be a threat in the long term. If you're not conversant with the AI tools, it can be a threat. But if you can also use it at your advantage. So suppose you have your own consulting firm and you hire 4 or 5 people.
Hmm.
And if you buy this AI tool, which will cost hardly 6 or 8 lakhs, you can easily remove, or you can easily I shouldn't say this word, but you can easily remove 2 or 3 guys from your team and only keep 1 or 2 guys, and then I guess you can even take more assignments because you will be able to do valuations much faster.
Agreed. It is a harsh truth actually
Right,
because AI जैसे जैसे आएगा humans का use in all these monotonous things will be removed.
right.
Okay. Let's talk about the job levels and monetary part. What do you think? Matlab, as a valuation guy, if I am entering, I have done graduation, I have done FMVA course, let's say, and I am a C. Okay. So, what do you think are the job levels when you enter the valuation industry? What kind of job levels do you get? And what are the packages you get? And how do you increase your level? And what are the packages as you grow?
So in India, there are only a few valuation firms, and the sector is mostly unorganized. Mostly,
Okay.
uh, so apart from the big fours, there are mostly boutique consulting firms. So वहाँ पे ना package can vary according to the level of the firm.
Okay.
In big fours, it is mostly in line with the uh, audit profile. So वहाँ पे एक ही parity रखते हैं audit और consulting में थोड़ा सा difference हो सकता है 5-10% का,
o-
but it is mostly in line with the other profiles. In boutique consulting firms, there's no parity as such. So it can range from so if someone is starting a career in valuations, so the package can range from 6 lakhs to 12 lakhs. It is quite a wide range.
Okay.
So there's no parity as such. Uh, so if you're looking to grow in this industry, I guess uh, big fours mein to there's a defined hierarchy. Like so in boutique consulting firms, there's no hierarchy as such. So if Though there's a defined hierarchy, but they can follow their own rules also. So in case they hire a guy and they feel that they cannot afford to lose that guy, they will make him a partner director quite early. So that is also possible in these boutique consulting firms. Though I guess it might not be very possible in the big fours. They do follow some rules. In valuations, most of the jobs are offered by these boutique consulting firms only. For an associate, the average would be, I guess, 7 to 8 lakhs. Since boutique firms, so they don't pay a huge amount
Mm,
to a beginner. Uh, as you grow up the ladder, so after maybe 2 or 3 years, you can become an assistant manager or a deputy manager,
okay.
and then you can expect a pay of around 12 to 13 lakhs. I'm just talking specifically for this Delhi NCR region. It can
Okay.
vary a little. Yeah. Someone who is having experience of 3 to 5 years, uh, he can expect a package of around 15 to 18 lakhs. Uh, 6 to 8 years, it can be around 20 to 25. And I guess 8 to 10, it can be 25 to 30 and even more than that. Plus, in boutique firms, they do give incentives for bringing in business. So most of so in what I've observed in boutique firms, most of your pay would be variable. A good amount of pay would be a variable percentage, would be a variable pay. So, so this variable percentage can be as high as 30 to 40%. Because
Mm, I agree because when I was talking to one of the merchant bankers, he also said the same thing. Okay, the majority of the
right,
part that you get in these firms is variable portion, and it varies from firm to firm. Okay, how much they want to pay and what will be the way
right,
they want to pay.
right.
Mm,
And mostly it would be for bringing in new business.
yes.
So, so they add this responsibility as well. So the boutique firms, they expect these things as well, that you should bring in
Yeah.
business and deal with clients and all. Big Fours, may you are only doing routine work. At I guess till senior level, senior manager position, they don't expect you to bring in business as well. You can just keep on doing your routine normal stuff and be stress free. But यहाँ पे थोड़ा stress ज़्यादा इसलिए रहता है क्योंकि you need to think about your future, your firm's future.
Yes. Plus your variable portion future.
Right.
So, Anish, since I saw from your LinkedIn profile, you had done your articleship from JC Bhalla and then you grew and made it until a partner. So, this is kind of a dream for everyone actually. Ki if you're doing an articleship in a good firm, reach until the partner level. So, how was your experience at JC Bhalla?
So it was quite a good experience, quite a good learning experience in JC Bhalla. So I pursued my entire articleship from JC Bhalla and Company. So at that point of time, my friends and even relatives used to tell me that you should join a big four to pursue articleship.
Okay.
But I took the hard step to pursue articleship from a mid-tier CA firm and learn all the aspects of a mid-tier CA firm practice, like audit, assurance, accounting, auditing, taxation. So I thought that I should be conversant with all the areas which are there in the CA field. Uh, so I had quite a good exposure while working with JC Bhalla. So so we did audits of listed and unlisted clients, large PSU banks like State Bank of India and other quite prominent clients as well. Then in JC Bhalla, I used to look after 2 or 3 different divisions. I guess I wouldn't have that. Uh, so I guess if I was working in a big four, I wouldn't have that opportunity to look after 2 or 3 different divisions. So so I was looking after audit, India's advisory, valuations, and related stuff, even due diligence to an extent. So it was quite a good experience.
Okay. So, I think we have come to the end of our session. The last question I would like to ask here is, how was your experience in the corporate world? You have so many years of experience. Please share with us a few lessons that you have learned in this corporate world, maybe something about valuation field, valuation corporate world, or something about the corporate journey, anything.
If you are planning to start your own firm after a certain point of time, it is best to work in some consulting firm or some other. It is best to work in this consulting world for at least 10 to 15 years. Try to build a network.
Mm,
And I guess it is best to open your own firm in the mid 40s when you already have access to a wide range of network. Then that I would like to say that the culture flows from top to bottom. So if partners behave in a certain way, the managers and the other staff will also behave in that way only. So if a partner uh, he is very egoistic. So I'm just giving an example. If someone is very egoistic and he shows that attitude in front of his staff, that culture will flow to the bottom as well. The managers will also show that kind of attitude to their juniors, and then the culture. So what I believe is culture flows from top to bottom, and you should maintain the culture at the top in order to maintain a discipline. And what I also feel is you should not depend on a single professional degree. You should try to couple it with a professional, some other professional certification. I guess you should try to couple a professional certification with a main professional degree, because these days clients they first look at your profile before planning to or thinking to give you some work. So क्या
mm.
होता है कि पहले you need to sell yourself first, and then only you can sell your brand or your own firm. So
Personal
so your
branding is becoming important.
इट इज क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट. पहले क्लाइंट आपको सर्विस देगा, आपको देके सर्विस देगा, फिर वो सेकंड स्टेप वुड बी टू गिव सर्विस टू दैट फॉर्म. सो प्रोफेशनल सो प्रोफेशनल स्क्रिप्ट में क्या होता है कि पहले आपको खुद ही अपने आप को सेल करना है, तभी वो काम देते हैं. सो दिस इज अ टू स्टेप प्रोसेस. सो
Mm.
पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग इज क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट. Someone is planning to pursue his career in valuations, so he should also plan to pursue an international certification in valuations.
Okay.
Uh, so he can go to the IVSC website. So there would be a list of courses which are affiliated with the IVSC
Okay.
and which are specifically meant for pursuing performing international valuations under the guidelines of the IVSC. So that would be quite helpful in the long term. Uh,
Okay.
so in India, the IICA or the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs is affiliated with the IVSC. They
Okay.
offer an advanced valuation course on international valuations. So people can plan to pursue that course as well.
What is IVSC? Can you describe the full form of that?
So IVSC stands for International Valuation Standards Council. It is
Okay.
kind of a self-regulatory body who is overlooking the valuations across the world. It is also a self-regulatory body, and then different countries can adopt the guidelines and tailor those according to the country's needs.
Oh,
Um, so in India,
understood.
even the law recognizes IVSC. So companies that maybe there's a reference that they need to perform valuations using the international valuation standards. So
It can be a beneficial course from the regulation point of view as well.
right, and
Okay.
even so, and someone who wants to take up valuation assignments from other countries like US, Europe, if someone is having a certification, an international certification, and that will be a great credential for someone who wants to take up international assignments.
Okay. Understood. Thank you, Anish, for joining today. I think we have given a good base for valuation for those people who want to enter valuation field. Thanks a lot for joining today.
Thank you for your time, Prashant.